So today we are going to look at something a little different. We're going to be looking at negative numbers. We are still going to be doing some more work on multiplication and tables, but today we are going to be concentrating on negative numbers. Hopefully you've already watched the first video that I gave you the link to, the short video. But even if you haven't, have a think about what do you understand by what the phrase negative numbers means. Where have you seen negative numbers in real life before? For example, have you maybe watched the weather forecast and heard them mention minus this or minus that? Have you heard negative numbers in any other context? Well, let's look at how we usually view numbers on a number line. This is how we're used to seeing the numbers, in this instance going up in ones, getting bigger by 1 each time as the numbers go towards the right and they go further away from 0, getting larger each time by 1. And so we continue. Now these numbers are all positive numbers, although we don't actually put the plus sign or the positive sign in front of each number, but they are positive numbers. The number line, though, did you know, can also continue on past 0. So there's the number line that we were looking at just a minute ago, but it can go beyond 0. -1, -2, -3. Now, as these numbers get further away from 0, we are actually subtracting 1 each time. Even though you might be thinking, well, that's a bit strange because the numbers are going 1, 2, 3, 4. But because it's actually -1, -2, -3, -4, we say that each time they are getting smaller or we are taking away 1. Okay? And those are our negative numbers on the left-hand side. Now this is a temperature scale. And we often see the temperature scale vertically. And temperature, as it says here, is measured in degrees Celsius. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, and we're often seeing a lot of that outside at the moment. As we go up the scale, the numbers increase, and these are the positive numbers. And as we continue to go up, with each step, we are getting warmer by 1 degree. As the temperature goes below freezing, we use negative numbers. -1, -2, and with each step it's getting colder by 1 as we take away 1 each time. Oh, they're trying to catch us out here. This is the scale, and each interval or section isn't actually going up in ones this time. Can you think about what it's going up in? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's the positive numbers. We are also going to be going down or subtracting the same amount each time on the left. So if the scale has changed, what is each division worth? Well, you've probably guessed. If we look at +4 and +6, you must add 2 to get to +4. Sorry, to get to +6 from +4. If we look at -8 and -10, you must subtract 2 to get from -8 to -10. So each space, interval or division is worth 2. Oh, they've done it again. They've made it trickier. There's a link to our tables though. You've probably guessed it. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, it's going up in 5s each time for the positive numbers And as we go further down, away from the 0 to the left, we are subtracting 5 each time. Now, you've noticed here probably already that there is a number missing. In order to work out what the number is missing, the first thing we do is we look at and try and work out what each interval is worth. If we look at the far side, there is a positive 1 and then a 0. And you've probably worked out that if you take away 1 from 1, you get 0. So between 0 and 1, we have 1. Let's read the rest of the pattern. -1, -2, -3, -4. And then after that it's -6, -7. You've guessed it. The missing number is -5. So again, this time we've got no positive numbers. There is a missing number. It starts on the right with -16 and then goes to -17. So sometimes I say minus, sometimes I say negative. You can use either or. Have you worked out, as we go towards the left, what we are taking away each time? Let's see, -16, -17, -18, -19, -20, -21. You've guessed it. It's -22, which will fit in because the next number is -20. What's the missing number? It's not going down in ones this time. It's going -4, -6, -8. Now, what do we take away to get from -4 to -6? Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I know if I have a positive number, the difference between 4 and 6 is 2. And you're quite right, you can use that as a strategy because the difference between 4 and 6 is 2 and the difference between 6 and 8 is 2. Each one of those sections is worth 2. But because we have got negative numbers, we're actually subtracting 2 each time. And I bet you've guessed it. The missing number is -6. This is how we're used to seeing the thermometer horizontally. I'll give you a second or two to work out what the spaces are between the larger sections or intervals. If you put your finger on 0, it then says 5, 10, 15, 20. So you can see it's going up in 5s, like our 5 times table. But actually you'll notice there's some little wee sections in between there, little marks. I wonder if we go back to 0, how many of these small sections are there between 0 and 5? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each one of those small sections is 1. Have a think about this. Which is colder, -5 or is it -20? Have a think. Here's my top tip, or my tip number 1. The coldest number, if we're thinking about temperature, which is measured in degrees Celsius, will be furthest away from 0 because you've had to subtract more to get away from 0. Put your finger where -5 is on the number line and put your finger where -20 is on the number line. Yes, you'll see that -20 is 20 away from 0. It's going to be colder. Gosh, that would be really cold. Sometimes we do get temperatures here of -5, but in other countries where it's even colder than Scotland, would you believe, temperatures of -20, it's going to be really cold. Can you order this set of numbers starting with the coldest? So we've got 3 positive numbers, 25 and 10. And then we've got 3 negative or minus numbers, -15, -20 and -2. If you're ordering these starting with the coldest, it's going to be one of the negative or minus numbers. Have a think. Which is colder? Is it minus 20, minus 15, or minus 2? Well, I'm sure some of you have guessed that you would write minus 20 first, because it would be furthest away from 0, and then minus 15, and then minus 2. Then the positive numbers, what would be the coldest out of 25 or 10? Well, that's a little bit easier. It would be 5, and then 10, and then 20.